the teams are looking at that now when they come out to play Alberta and Kevin Martin, and unfortunately for Brad Hebert, he hasn't got it in the first edge.
No, teams are wondering how can we get Alberta to take just one when they have last rock so we don't get behind. It's happened so many times lately that Alberta's come out and scored quickly, gotten their 2 points, and we know what they can do once they get a lead.
Well, you know, there's been lots of controversy about Kevin Martin and his team from Alberta, but you know, whether you like him or dislike him, it doesn't matter. The point is, this is a tremendous curling unit. They're a terrific team. They can play all aspects of this game, and they have been playing it better than everybody else here this week. They lost their first game to Russ Howard, and they really, in a wonderful game. It was a tremendous game, and they haven't looked back. So, you know, and there's been no problems with sweeping with the corn broom, nothing that I've seen that's caused any problems. So, I mean, there's 3 or 4 skips. Davy Jones uses a corn broom in the head. Jim Armstrong uses a corn broom in the head. So, you're right, though, Linda. I'll tell you, the teams are terrified when they take a look. First of all, they don't have last rock. So now they play the first end without last rock. One little mistake, if he gets a deuce on you, goodbye. Yeah. Goodbye. Because the ice from the outside in runs very straight. We'll kind of set a pattern for you and show you how it is running. From the inside to the wings, to the 12-foot, it's swinging, moving almost 6 feet. On hits, 1.5 feet.
This will be the second stone for the Alberta lead. 31-year-old Don Bartlett. Here in the first end, 12th round of this 92 of at Brier.
Yep. Good.
Donnie. You can see the indication by Brad Hebert just taking on the edge of the stone. This is the outside in shot. Runs very straight.
We were talking about how many times teams with last rock have won, and I looked at the percentage, and 64% of the time the team with last rock has come on and won. Usually, actually over the last few years especially, it's been getting closer to just 50%, maybe 52%, and 64% is quite a wide difference. And we think that maybe part of it is, as you say, Ray, that the ice, when you step up the weight, is a little bit straighter, and so teams can keep it more open.
Dan Petrick, with those numbers, he may very well be all-star material by the end of this week.
Good.
You know, Ray, if you think about what Brad Hebert's maybe going through here and how it affects his game. He doesn't come out playing the kind of game he might want to play. He comes out playing defensively, trying to hold Martin to the one, not give up the deuce. I mean, it has a great effect on the way you might want to skip this game, you know?
I think he lends himself to playing that way anyway. Saskatchewan, a lot of Saskatchewan teams do, Vic, like to play pretty wide open and clean. We can think of Myers, for example, the boys that we had at the Brier a few years ago. There's a lot of hitting teams, good hitting teams in Saskatchewan. So from that point of view, he's fine. Whether or not he can pick the right time or make the adjustment like Kevin can to score the points when you have to. That's what we'll have to wait and see. They're a good young team. They've been very impressive the last couple of games.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, you make a good point. It's one thing to be and play defensively, but it's knowing when to turn offense and turn towards offense at the right moment.
Well, you know, Brad Hebert is playing, you know, the Canadian champion, the reigning Canadian champion, and he is he's now a veteran of this game. And what a big year they've had. Linda, I think they've been back and forth to Europe 2 or 3 times. And yes, a disappointing showing at the Olympics, but those things happen. Those are circumstances. And you know what? I'll tell you what. I've seen something in Kevin this week that I never saw all last year at the Worlds or at the Brier. He really wants this Brier. He wants this Brier badly. Not that he didn't want to win the gold medal, not that he didn't want to win last year's Brier. He wants this one because he wants to really shut up his critics. You know, here I am, I'm back again. I won my way back in Alberta. I'm coming to the Brier. I'm going to win this Brier. You can just see it. It's written all over them.
third of this Alberta rink, Kevin Park.
Take a look. Oh, it's here.
What I'd like to do is just briefly show our viewers, Vic, across the country, how, what to watch for, what to look for on this ice surface. Now, as I mentioned, when you're playing in this area here, for example, if you're hitting a stone about here, you'll be taking the broom right on the edge of the stone, outside in. If you're hitting a stone over here, from the inside out, you'll be taking about 1.5 foot of ice. If you're drawing, I'll just clear that to the wings. There's lots of movement over there, no problem. You'll be holding the broom about here. Okay, now, the tricky part on the ice surface is this center line. When you climb the center line, it'll hold, but then when it gets to it, it'll break. And that's the tricky area right there. So we'll watch for all the little things that can happen, and as it changes through the game.
And as you've said, and Linda said throughout the week, what is really nice about it is the consistency of the ice. From sheet to sheet, it's remained the same, Linda.
It's been great. Yeah, we talked a little bit about how it may get frosty on the sides, but it hasn't really seemed to. Now, just to bring you up to date, there was a nose hit by Saskatchewan on that front stone, and of course, Alberta with Lost Rock will try and draw around this corner guard. We watched this sheet this afternoon. This is where New Brunswick and Northern Ontario were playing, and this spot in the sheet had a great deal of movement.
Line's good.
Second stone for the Alberta third. Kevin Park here in the first end. 12th round, and Alberta does have the hammer.
Move.
Hold the weight.
Oh, let her bend.
Not curling, guys.
Now, it's early in the game, so if you just remember this shot, I think you'll see later on in the game that finishing with a lot more. In other words, those last 4 or 5 feet, it moving over better than that. This is also pretty consistent.
Kevin Martin appeared to indicate Kevin Park threw it well. It just didn't finish.
Just didn't finish it right. You know, this young Brad Hebert could really liven this building up with a good game here tonight, because the fans really haven't had a lot to shout about. You know, there's been some tremendous curling, but not, how do I say this, probably not really exciting curling. Not a lot of those quiet tap-backs and angle raises and the kind of shots these guys are capable of making. So we really haven't seen a lot of, in my opinion, a lot of terrific shots. A lot of good, steady curling, but not fancy curling.
No. Sitting. Take a breath.
Let's big weight for that shot. Gives Kevin another. That's the other thing against a team like this. You can't give these guys too many chances. They learned a lesson on the first one. You know, and Kevin's able to sink this. If he sinks it, that could be 2 points. And if you know what it does when he gets 2 points, Linda.
They may watch this a little bit with the sweeping too, because if they sweep it early, it holds the center line longer. So you may see the sweepers trying to dust it very lightly to start and then waiting till it curls before they sweep it hard.
Just for weight.
Go for line. This
Line's good.
Okay, room. Let her bend again. Off.
Just not moving for them, Vic. You can see it's just sitting there.
Come on, hold on.
Right back.
Bend it.
Quick.
Hurry, come on,
now.
come on, come on, come on. Come on,
Right.
come on, come on. Come on, right back.
Right back. Right back.
Didn't bury it any better than yours.
A little bit better. Kind of did the same thing. Didn't really move.
Exactly, Kevin. Kevin Park. Harrison Ford look. Raiders of the Lost Ark. New beard. Big shot for young Brad Hebert. Nice thrower. Nice extension.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Whoa!
Gotta be careful.
Okay, good shot.
Very nice shot.
Hurry, Kevin.
coming.
Good shot, Brad. It's always nice to get that first end out of the way.
They were commenting that the ice might be straightening. Well, there's a possibility of that, but I think, like you, Ray, that maybe as the evening progresses, it will just start to curl more.
Sold out again here tonight. Kevin will take a look at this wide in-turn shot.
The final stone of this first end against Manitoba. Al Hackner with last rock in the first end of play. Hackner looks like he's lying one, Ray, right over, biting the edge of the 12 at around 3 o'clock. So this appears to be an open draw for two. Can they get it there? Unbelievable. The Iceman just hasn't looked sharp. We saw that earlier. And he now takes the 1-0 lead over Vic Peters as they go to the second end. PEI Newfoundland. Final stone, Ted McFadgen plays up to his own, and he'll score 2 and take the early lead on Newfoundland and Glenn Goss from St. John's as they go to the second end. Ted McFadgen has been playing a lot better, has beaten Ontario already this week.
Well, that's the kind of shot that you don't normally see Al Hackner miss. Now, he missed, I think he missed one of those this afternoon in this game as well, Linda. You just can't, you can't miss those kind of open draws and things, shots like that. And he curled very well this afternoon, personally. But it's not like him, like you mentioned, Vic. And if you're not going to make those kind of shots, you're not going to win. And that's what's happened, obviously.
Go ahead, Donald.
Saskatchewan second is Bob Nowakowski.
No.
Well, you can see their game plan was obviously to keep it as clean as possible and maybe run 6 or 7 ends and hope to get a little break and maybe get a point or two jump on Kevin Martin. But he's going to throw up the corner guards, which he's doing. He'll throw them up, trying to get his deuce. And I think as the game progresses, you're going to see more and more movement. So just needs another nose hit.
The Alberta second is Dan Petrick.
Oh, let her bend a little. Let her bend a bit.
Our viewers can see the ice surface, see the frost a little bit building.
Man, marking something down over there.
Here's our phone poll in this 12th round of the Labatt Brier. Are you in favor of a rule change to help give the game more offense, or should the game of curling continue with the traditional rules? If you vote in favor of change, call 1-900-273-1000. No change, 1-900-273-2000. It'll cost you 50 cents, but we'd like to know what you think. Point out, Ray, that we're not talking about one specific rule change. We're just talking about a rule change of some kind.
That's right. There's been a lot of suggestions. The Moncton rule, the modified Moncton rule. I like the one that Linda's husband Al was talking about maybe putting a free guard zone area in the ice, which maybe we'll show our viewers later on, Linda.
Sure.
What Al means, and I like that one too. And Ed Lukowicz, we talked about his suggestion last night or the night before last, and just. Are you in favor of some change to bring more offense into the game?
Oh, let her bend.
Or if you're not, then let's hear from you. It's only 50 cents.
Wow.
Ice cream cone here is $3.
Fuck up.
Now, why would you know how much an ice cream cone is here?
How much is the fudge, Ray?
Kevin Park puts up the corner guard.
Just tight to the ring.
Well, we're seeing a change in strategy now. Saskatchewan has decided to put up a center line guard.
This is the Saskatchewan third, 35-year-old Warren Sharp.
Tight to the rings. it's Warren's first stone. This is not a bad play, but you can't let it slip into the rings. It's got to be very tight. I'm impressed by Brad. I watched him play this morning. And
Boy, Warren. Shot.
all the way.
Try going around. Center one.
Well, in the morning draw 10, he beat Nova Scotia 7-3 to improve his record to 4-3.
You know, he got off to a bit of a bad start, but you know, he's at 4-3, and he's still right in the hunt for this thing. And especially if he can beat a team like Martin, and maybe someone knocks off Ontario, and maybe Northern Ontario knocks off Dick Peters. Next thing you know, you're right there. Years of umpiring, I've seen some of the weirdest things happen. Well, we have on the road too, all three of us, where we think, oh well, it's all over now, and bang, next thing you know, you got 3 tiebreakers.
Well, he was as bad as 1-3 earlier in the round robin, so he's come back with 3 straight wins now to climb over 500.
Clean. Wait. Whoa.
Alberta's coming around the center line guard. Now, they could have come around with the other turn. This is a dangerous way to come between the 2 rocks. And it's still exposed.
Well, that's an outside-in shot. You know, it's a toughie.
Just to bring you up to date, this is how the standings look. Manitoba, Alberta, Ontario, and then Quebec, who have the draw off. Newfoundland, Saskatchewan with the 3 losses. The feeling being that 4 will be too many. Now, if Manitoba, Alberta, Ontario all win their games here in round 12, oh boy, that could hurt a lot of people. So Newfoundland, Saskatchewan, and Northern Ontario trying to help themselves by winning here in round 12.
Now, the reason I was saying this is a dangerous way to come is now Saskatchewan can hit and roll behind either guard. Now, the easier guard is probably the Redstone, the corner guard. But if they can do it, they can really put some pressure on Alberta.
Yep. Hurry hard. Right up. Right up. Right hard.
Gonna get it by? Now, is that the opportunity that Kevin Martin will use to get his deuce here in 2?
Yeah, Brad played the guard, and they missed the come around, and so he just couldn't miss that shot. Try and listen to him.
You don't want to start him there.
He got it started.
Thinking that was not going to move very much. Like,
Yeah, or, well, whatever it is. Like,
Well, sometimes that happens. You watch the draw come down so straight, you start thinking, well, I can't be wide, or my takeout won't curl at all, and sometimes the hand turns it over a little bit.
maybe not lots. Maybe not. Hurry. Hurry.
Here comes
Gonna need some
Kevin
help here. It's
Martin.
not sliding. Come on.
Kevin Martin saying it needs help. Come
Come
on.
on. Oh, wait. Come on. It'll get. It'll go. It'll go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Great sweeping.
Look at that. Yeah, well, they be able to get it to the rings. If they do, this is unbelievable.
That's a big break for Saskatchewan. They must capitalize here now.
We had talked earlier in the week, Ray, about how good the ice was for being able, as you say, to carry a stone.
And this rock was dead at the hog line. Look at where they got it.
You can see the pressure on the brush. The bristles are right out. The brooms are as close together as they can get. They took that rock as far as it would go.
Kind of curious, though. Out of Martin's hand, he said, it looks like it's got lots. And then suddenly he said, well, maybe not.
It's not sliding, he said. They may have got over a little further than they wanted.
Now, this could be a big turnover in the end. If Saskatchewan can get a roll behind the guard, they can force Alberta to take 1.
Right on, Linda.
Yep. Hurry.
This one's curling quite a bit, too.
So Martin will look to hit and roll it out, blank the end again. Stone of the second end.
Hit! Real hard.
And there goes the shooter, and so will blank another end here in this 12th round. Brad Hebert knows he may just have escaped with one here. We played 2 in Regina.
I've been saying all along.
Welcome to the Labatt Brier. This is where it's all happening this week in Regina, the Agridome. Updates for you now. Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland. PEI got 2 with last rock in the first end. This is the final stone for Glengoss St. John's Curling Club. Had to hit and stick. Now watch the shooter go. Because second shot is that red rock. 9 o'clock, 12 foot. The shooter will go too far. And it's a steal of one more for Ted McFadgen out of the Cravo Club in the Battle of the Islands, PEI in Newfoundland. Northern Ontario, Manitoba. Hal Hackner got one with last rock in the first. Final stone for Vic Peters and his rink tied for first place at 6-1 from the Granites in Winnipeg. Makes the hit, gets the inside roll, stops in time. 1-1 now, Northern Ontario and Manitoba. Now the Yukon Northwest Territories against Ontario. They blank the first end. Final stone, Steve Moss, Yellowknife, looking to get both of them. He can't, and it'll be a steal of one for Ontario and Russ Howard as they go to the third end of play, and the rink from Yellowknife will still have last rock. As we return to our featured game in this 12th round of the Labatt Brier, planks in 1 and 2. Alberta still with last rock here in end number 3, but rocks in play.
Never. No. Why? That's shot. Shot down.
Well, a couple of hits, not necessarily on the nose, but
That's higher.
some rocks out in play.
Sure.
Kevin doesn't mind them on the edges, that's for sure.
The Saskatchewan second, Bob Nowakowski.
Saskatchewan has to be very careful. They're leaving up those corner guards, and if one of their rocks happen to slide into the house, then Alberta can try and roll with the takeout.
Mine's good.
This is the first year this rink from the Cali Club has been together.
Okay.
Didn't do a lot of bond spieling. And then in their tankard final beat Mark Dacey 8-4.
Our viewers will remember Mark, of course, from the Skins game a couple years ago.
Dan Petrick.
The out-turn draw going around the Yellowstone, just to the left of center.
Hard for line. Wait, good. Hard. Real tight. Hard for line.
Gets that center line and starts to move. Look at it go now. It's on the front one, I believe, Linda.
They're trying to roll it away a little bit.
All right.
That's the tricky center line that we talked about. It'll stay out there, and when it gets to it, away it goes. That's what makes interesting curling for interesting curling. Thought by Brad. In-turn draw.
For his third, Warren Sharp.
Rube.
Also a nice thrower, good and high.
Line room yet. Line only. Line room yet.
Sits up like Eddie Lukowicz sits up. And Al Hackner. Here it comes. It'll make a big move now. Oh, a good looking shot. crowd wants? They want something to cheer about.
Gets to center line, and you can see that they brush it hard because it's curling so much here. Just get it by the guard. The important thing, too, is it stayed in front of the tee line.
Now, this is the kind of shot that this team is so good at. Kevin Martin has asked his third man, Kevin Park, and he's been putting on curling clinics here all week. Kevin Park has. He's been curling great. To run this back.
First stone for the Alberta third here in the third end of a scoreless game.
Oh, may get the spin off.
All right.
Raised it onto his own, and now they've opened it up.
Kevin Park, Manitoba, Terry, Glenn Howard. I guess that's why those three teams are on top.
Yeah, the surprise there is Slonis from Nova Scotia.
So goes your third, so goes your team.
Nova Scotia 1-7.
We're at that tight line. Move. Keep an eye, guys. It might overcurl. Overcurl.
You don't want to leave the center line side of this rock exposed.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh dear, it's
Yeah,
over-curling.
yeah, look at this. Yeah, you can just see Brad Hebert sort of shake his head. And maybe we have.
See, you're much better, as Linda suggests, to cover this side of it and leave this side exposed, because now what can happen is that Kevin Martin with Kevin Park's shot, can get the hit here and the roll right in behind those guards, and now you're in trouble.
Get on the ridge, so you just got to, your first one ran for a while and then it broke up at the end, but I think you just got to start it. Can't stop it. Yeah. Same as with mine going the other way. Hurry! Yep! Real hard! Where?
Kevin Park, now they're going to have to really work to get it by here.
Now the roll the other way. Well, Brad has a chance here to get the roll that Kevin tried to get.
Well, they're having trouble controlling that curl, and remember earlier with the Northern Ontario game, that's where Al Hackner tried to draw a 9 that curled and ticked the guard and really cost him the game.
Tricky center line, Linda.
It is.
Makes for interesting curling.
Yeah, I thought it might fall a bit. You can't afford to be back on that or you're dead.
Sits a while and then she comes off and moves, so. Normal key, spoke before.
Skip stones here in this third end of the first from Saskatchewan's Brad Hebert.
Yep, yep. Clean. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
It's got a lot.
Right off. A lot of weight.
Now the roll. Well, it will stop. Will it stop in time? It hangs around full 12, 3 o'clock.
Probably do anything, eh? Yeah. Sure. That's the call. Popping in and open this one up at the same time. Yeah.
Sorry, Warren, a little hot on you.
Lots of choices. He could ignore this side of the ice altogether and go over into here. He could also come over into here. But what he's playing is down into here.
Pump it up.
Pump the red rock up. Interesting call.
One reason they said they were doing it is even if they don't tap it quite far enough, it might be covered by the other two stones, and they'll open up that back yellow rock.
Good line. Yep.
Clean. Hurry.
Whoa.
Oh, got a bend.
Girl, guys. Where's the weight? Where's the weight?
Hurry. Hey, line's great.
Come on. Quick.
Okay.
Hard, guys.
There's a bump.
Great shot, isn't it?
Right back. T-line 8 foot, and it is buried.
Let's just go around the long one. Might be easier here. So we haven't really played anything in there, have we? It's a lot tighter to get around.
Yeah, it's true, the way that one finished. Pretty much in the line you threw it, so. A little bit tight with that one, and she moved. There.
You'd like to come this way, but you heard him say the way it finishes, that's too dangerous. So the only thing, and they know the ice so well here, they'll try and get around this one right here into this area here. Terrific shot by Kevin Martin.
Well, earlier in the end, Saskatchewan third, Warren Sharp buried one into the top of the 8. Final stone for Brad Hebert.
Through.
On weight.
Through.
Five.
Off then.
On weight. Five.
Gotta watch this when it starts to go, though. It'll really go. Here it goes now.
Off through him, off through him. Off through him, off through him. T-line, that's all. T-line, just T-line, no more.
Very nice
That's
shot.
good, that's good, Kerry.
Very nice shot. That's a great
T-line
shot.
is what they wanted, and that's what they've got. Full 4 foot.
Good call, too, Linda. It was so much the safer shot.
Yeah. Go for one, I guess.
I think so.
Draw for
That
one.
was a terrific draw.
Yeah.
You see Novakowski, the second, no brushing, but just keeping it clean. It's like the curlers have learned a lesson this
Go
week.
for one.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rocks catching something. They're not sure what it is, so if it's anywhere near to being the correct weight, you should keep it clean.
Draw for one.
Final stone of the third end.
Careful.
You gotta go, guys. Line shut. Hurry. 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 Come on. Quick. Hurry.
Here comes Kevin Park again.
Come on.
Now he's
Just
going to
this
have a
time. Come
piece of the
on.
cap.
Come on. 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 Come on.
Get it there. No!
Well, they swept it all away, Linda.
They worked it as hard as they could.
That's 2 very big missed draws by Alberta's Kevin Martin. Brad Hebert steals one here in the third end.
Boy, they are going to be a brutal competitor for us.
We bought them out last month.
I just bought 1,000 of their Class A shares. I guess you're not worried about that lawsuit in the UK, huh? Lawsuit?
Business bloopers are embarrassing, especially when they happen to you. And that's why you need the Financial Post, because it delivers the news that helps you to stay informed, to stay ahead. Call this number now, and with your new subscription, you'll receive this personal office stereo with AM/FM clock radio and separate speakers. And ask about our free 4-week introductory offer. Every day, our top-notch editorial staff gathers the essential business and investment news from our bureaus across Canada, in New York, Washington, London, Hong Kong, and 35 affiliates worldwide. You get the information you need in a compact, easy-to-read format. Domestic and international business news, RSP and personal money advice, helpful economic trends, insightful comment and opinion. And every week we wrap up with the revamped Financial Post Weekend Edition. The definitive summary of the week's events, major features, in-depth analysis, the most comprehensive review of the major markets. Relax with the new Weekend Arts and Leisure section, and sports like never before. So call now and receive Canada's #1 business paper, plus the Financial Post magazine, the monthly that brings you the people and events behind the news.
I just read that fund isn't performing well.
Oh, great. Just moved my retirement savings there.
Stay informed and stay ahead. Call this number now for your subscription to the Financial Post. With your paid subscription to the Financial Post, you'll receive this personal office stereo. So call toll-free 1-800-268-1121. That's 1-800-268-1121. Ask for the extension number on your screen and ask about our free 4-week introductory offer.
Updates for you now. Yukon Northwest Territories against Ontario. Final stone for Steve Moss and his rink out of the Yellowknife Curling Club. Trailing 1-0 as they play the third after a steal of 1 by Howard. Gets by the guard, the quiet draw, 4-foot T-line, and it's tied 1-1 as they go to the fourth end of play. PEI and Newfoundland. It's 3-0. PEI leading as they play the third. Final stone for Glenn Goss and his rink from St. John's. Hits sticks 4 foot at 9 o'clock, and it's 3-1. Northern Ontario, Manitoba. Final stone for Al Hackner and his rink from the Thunder Bay Country Club. Must win for the Iceman. This the open draw for 2. Be there and lead it now 3-1, but as Ray points out, he could really be leading 4-1 had he not missed that draw in end number 1. 2 missed draws by Alberta, and this one is the most costly of all. The final stone, Ray, of that third end. They brushed it all the way.
Hurry, 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 come on.
Well, you have to say that he missed that other drive by not even making the house. This one obviously is a good draw because it's almost into the 4-foot, but he had to be to the button. And, oh, just a bite of the 4.
And the steal of 1 has Brad Hebert from the Cali Club, the Caledonian Club here in Regina, on top as we go to the fourth end of play, Alberta with last rock. And once again, stones in play for the Saskatchewan second, Bob Nowakowski.
Chance for Bob to hit and stick to lie 2 here. Brad threw his first one to the top of the 4-foot, then they've exchanged some stones from that point. Kevin threw up a corner guard.
Hurry, guys!
He's having trouble in this spot. He's having trouble grooming the team. It's curling so much. That's a miss.
I think he cut his weight a little bit, maybe. We're trying to hear their comments. Out-turn draw, he's asked. Dan Petrick to play.
Clean.
No, he's playing to move that yellow stone.
Just tap it back a bit, eh?
Whoa. Throw it. Whoa.
The original call was just to tap it back or come down to it.
Dan Patrick with a takeout and Alberta line 2.
Well, the double's there, possible double, hit and roll.
You said he's having trouble grooming them for the ice. What do you say?
Well, there was 2 shots earlier at the other end when it was coming this direction where he had the rock over curl. It was Brad's rock. It hit the guard. I don't know if he's just thinking it's straighter than it is in that spot.
I think in both cases, though, Linda, they threw different weights.
It could be that.
I think that Bob threw a little different weight.
What's happening here? Oh. This time it was Warren Sharp just catching the corner.
Well, you got the single point steal. You hate to give up a deuce here.
I think a 14 will be
Could We're talking about the draw weight, 14 seconds from hog line to hog line. The higher number, the faster the ice, because as the ice gets keen, as we say, the rock glides more easily. It takes longer time for it to get down to the other end.
Take a look. Sliding.
Oh, it's really sliding. Will it stop? Oh, just.
What are we doing?
Now it's about 14 seconds from hog to hog and about 24 seconds from hog line to tee line. Very fast ice.
That slid too good.
I didn't throw that very hard at all.
That 7-8 just dig, that's all.
I'd like to thank Professor Eric Salt, electrical engineer at the University of Saskatchewan, who sent me a study he'd done on timing stones and things today. Linda, I haven't had a chance to really get into it, but I appreciate the fact that he sent it to me, and I'll study it closely and take a look at it. And we can talk about it later on.
Right up. Okay, fine.
All right.
It's time. Warren Sharp makes the takeout. Here's our phone poll in this 12th round of the Labatt Brier. Are you in favor of a rule change to help give the game more often? No particular rule change, just a rule change. Or should the game continue with its traditional rules? If you'd like to vote for change, 1-900-273-1000. If you say, nah, it's great the way it is, 1-900-273-2000. Costs you 50 cents. We'd really like to know your opinion. Park.
Might have to go. Heavier over here. Come on. Right up.
Careful. Careful.
Where do you want it? Where do you want it?
Well, we want it deep. Hurry, come on.
Put it on the tee. Even deeper. Better. The deeper the better now. Come on. Right back. Right back.
Good.
Quick.
Shot, Kevin.
Well, it's a good spot for it. There's no double takeout there.
I guess.
You heard Kevin Martin say that number 7 and 8 rocks, every rock is numbered. Red number 7 and 8 are slower, and maybe he's having trouble with the weight because some of the rocks are gliding better than others.
Tough to make doubles when those rocks are so far apart, huh?
No, very tough. That last one, there really wasn't a double because the rocks were too even at the back of the house. You'll see a difference here. Alberta's going to the straighter turn, the outside in turn, whereas Saskatchewan played from the other direction. With this one, you have to be very careful not to put the rock back towards the outside, towards the boards.
Kevin's out turn.
First stone for the Alberta skip here in the 4th end. Saskatchewan leading 1-0 after that steal of one in the 3rd.
Never.
There's another break. Oh, it's just stopped dead.
Yeah.
It looked like it was going to roll out for a minute. Good shot. Turns out to be a good shot.
Have to throw it. Seeing where the nose right there. I'm not sure he'll throw throw the intern at it, so he's... that one hadn't frosted, he'd have missed her, so...
Good thought.
As we mentioned, this is the first year this rink has been together, Brad Hebert.
Kate's Sharp was the same thing. That one was floating on him. He just jumped up at the end. I think he'd have rolled over. He knows it.
Brad Hebert starting to play again competitively this year after taking 2 years off to further his education. The final stone for the Saskatchewan skip here in the fourth end.
Yep. Hurry! Right up! Right up hard! Hurry! Right up! Right up!
Open draw for 2.
Well, you hate to do that. You hate to steal that point and give up a deuce, you know, but you're still in good position.
Out-turn. Yeah. I was going to throw the same way I did in my button draw.
Well, he's only made half of his draws, and they've all been interns. He's indicated here he's playing the out turn. Maybe give himself a little bit of change.
Hurry. Right down center. Hurry. Come on. This rock's digging more. Come on.
No, I can't believe this. Come on. Everybody out again. He's not going to lose a third one.
Those things are way too heavy.
Wife Shauna is happy. Alberta leads it 2-1. The Labatt Brier Tankard. Which team will hold it high on Sunday? Let's get you caught up now. Yukon Northwest Territories against Ontario as they play the fourth end. Missed the final stone for Ontario's Russ Howard. Makes the hit. Will he shoot or go? Glenn's sort of there. Come on. Will it go? It will, and so they will blank the fourth end, and it remains a 1-1 tie. PEI and Newfoundland, fourth end action, 3-1, PEI leading. Final stone for Ted McFadgen. The hit and the roll inside. Jeff Cunningham there thinking maybe with a little brushing I can move it. No way, Jeff. It'll sit right there. 1, and PEI now leads it. It is 4-1 PEI leading as they play the fifth. Northern Ontario, Manitoba. This will be the final stone for the Manitoba skip. Vic Peters out of the Granite in Winnipeg, trailing 3-1. The hit and stick in the 4-foot. Second point, Larry Pino just kicks away, and it's all tied up 3-3 as they go to the fifth end. Alberta comes right back with a deuce in 4, and Kevin Martin now has his lead 2-1 as we go to the fifth. Saskatchewan with last rock, and it'll be interesting to see now if Kevin Martin decides to try and run it through and take it with him.
It will be, Vic. I like what Brad Hebert's doing here. There's a rock in the rings, the Alberta stone sitting at the back of the 8-foot, and Brad's ignoring it, throwing up some corner guards, and if they don't work, then eventually he can go back and freeze to the back one. So he's in a good position here to try and get his deuce back. So far he's skipped a good game. He's made a lot of great shots. There was a miss, one miss last end, cost him a point, so no big deal.
We again heard Kevin Martin referring to his stones, that his stones were not sliding very well. We have some statistics, of course, on rocks and what color wins on each sheet. Now, most of the way across, you'd expect what the statistics show. Red rock have last rock. And since I said last rock was winning 64% of the time, you would expect red rocks to have a bit of an advantage. However, on sheet A, out of the 11 draws that have been played there, red rocks have won 10 times. A lot of people feel that the yellow rocks on sheet A have some imperfections and are not sliding very well. This sheet, we haven't seen any major problems as far as statistics go, but Kevin Martin feels 2 of them may be slower than the other 6 in the set.
So Don Bartlett threw those this end. I watched
That's right.
it. So he gave them to the lead, and the lead threw those 2.
Funny how that happens, right?
Yeah. Good call by Brad again. He threw up the corner guard a couple times, and now he decides to freeze. So, good call.
All right.
Kevin Park.
Back. Well, off it. Not yet.
Oh. They were trying to peel it from the center line side, and it just ran too straight.
What are we doing trying to go across the face on the straight turn?
Not happy with the call, maybe.
Well, as he said, it's a straight spot, and it was a little more difficult to play that way. Great chance for Saskatchewan. They're going to try and spread the rocks out, even them up.
Warren Sharp. Exchange the stones. Do it well, you get your 2 back.
Easy, top 12.
Terrific opportunity.
Foul. 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 Hot, guys. Hot. Here.
Maybe could have brushed it back a little bit further.
Well, it was funny. I thought they were going to even them up near the back of the rings, as Alberta tried last end, and he wanted them spread out such that one was top 12, one was back 12, to prevent, I suppose, to prevent any possibility of a double takeout.
Doubles there, especially for this team. Kevin wants to throw his hits with 1 stone. He wants his 6 rock.
Peel weight.
Peel weight.
This would be the 2nd stone for the Alberta 3rd, Kevin Park, here in this 5th end. Alberta leading 2-1 over Saskatchewan, and Regina has last rock.
Lots of rotation, so you'll get lots of action when they make contact. Wrong side. This would be a big extra point for the young Saskatchewan skip to get.
Now, where would you like to put this? Back a little bit farther behind the tee line?
Ideally, as Kevin Martin did, as Linda talked about it, he got them right back into the 12-foot, so they're across from each other. There was a double there if he'd hit that on the other side and come across. And they're tough doubles, I realize, but
Warren Sharp.
More line.
crowd is watching every shot here.
Yeah, it is, and it is sold out.
Take it right back now. If you can take it right back as far as it'll go.
Curious, they're not listening.
Well, I guess it's either way back or very high to make it a thin double. But I think when it looks like it's sliding pretty well like that, you can take the rock 4 feet.
You can get the roll.
Hit and roll, Kevin says.
sits right there.
Now the choice, you're still shot rock. You can draw to lie 2, or you could play the hit to lie 2. It's whatever you feel.
Want to draw? Here?
May as well.
Yeah, hit's a little chancy in that spot.
Boy, Brad.
You agree with him?
Well, I mean, there's no right and wrong shots. I mean, it's what you feel. If you feel you don't, if you don't know your draw weight, then maybe you should play the hit. But he says the hit's a little chancy there. I think the percentage is to draw here. He has to just be in the 8 foot.
What do you think? The hit.
You can't roll out here now. You want to get this second point if you play the hit.
They may be talking about the fact that if they didn't get perfectly buried, it allows Alberta to make a hit and a roll behind the redstone, and perhaps it shot rock protectant. They may be a little worried about that.
What Linda's saying is if they do draw down here someplace and don't get it buried, then they get the hit and roll behind this one. It causes a problem. So now he's decided maybe to play the hit. He could play the hit, remove this stone like so, but you must stay in the rings. We're going to have a little talk about it. The ideal spot, of course, would be just to freeze it on the face of the front one, but
The in-turn hit. We're just saying if it hangs out on the line, it goes a foot deep and he hits and flops of a shot behind there, and they'll have to make the double.
Want to play the hit then?
Play the in-turn hit, yeah.
he's changed his mind. He's decided to play this hit. Just want to remove the stone. If you could freeze it on there, it would be a good shot too, but a little too risky. He feels this is a safer shot.
Well, the key, of course, is to hit and stick here.
Yeah, got to stick. These are the little advantages you need to make this. Exchange stones, get your point back. Then your opposition has to chase you a little bit.
First stone for the Saskatchewan skip, Brad Hebert, here in the 5th end of play.
Clean. Hurry now.
Really moves here now. You got to be careful.
Good looking shot.
You bet. And they held it all the way to an excellent shot.
Very nice.
Huh? So you hit and stay on the back.
Sweepers are doing a lot of work here. The draws and the takeouts.
Sweeper's ice, that's for sure.
Just beside it or ahead of it, but that slide deep, you could turn it over.
This is the area of the ice that we illustrated for you, and see how straight it runs. This is the outside in. Now they're looking at maybe playing the hit and roll in front of it. Okay, they were first of all talking about just hitting this one here and exchanging the stone, making him hit and stick, but now they've decided to hit this one here, try and roll over into this area someplace there.
Hurry!
Final stone for Alberta, Kevin Martin.
Real hard. Quick. 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 Quick.
Now, where will the roll go? Nowhere. It'll just sit right there, top 12.
So a draw for 2. Saskatchewan skip Brad Hebert. He's going to take his out turn. This will bring the house to their feet.
Yeah.
Liven up this building.
He really takes his time, sets himself, concentrates on the weight.
Well, he knows how important this game is. He can put himself right back in the race with the victory here. And boy, that'll really make this town buzz.
Yeah, he'll help out a couple of other rinks too with a win over Kevin Martin.
Clean.
The draw for 2 here in end number 5, and a lead going to the 5th end break.
You can hear the fans now starting to buzz.
All The hometown boys are in front with 2 here in the 5th end of play. Brad Hebert will take a breath. 5-minute break here in our featured game as we go now live. Update for you. This is Ontario, Yukon, Northwest Territories. Final stone for Russ Howard.
Double for 2.
There it is. You bet. 2 there. Edge 12 at around 9 and 10 o'clock. So 2 for Ontario in 5. And they now lead 3-1 over the Territories Yukon rink of Steve Moss of Yellowknife. We're in Regina. And this program is brought to you in part by Honda Power of 5th man Jim Packett. As Kevin Martin figures out, boy, maybe I've got myself a game here in draw 12.
Who is this guy?
Gave my son a Honda generator. It'll power everything from a sander to a saw to a whole cottage. Gave my daughter a Honda lawnmower. It has every safety and performance feature, even something called a hydrostatic transmission. And they gave me this fuel-efficient Honda outboard. Powerful, quiet, and virtually emission-free, so it won't pollute the lake. Thank them. Even though they did it to get me out of the way, it doesn't bother me a bit.
The pasta.
They loved it.
The sauces.
Yeah, great.
The cooking. So easy. Introducing McCain Pasta Magic. Simply microwave the sauce. Run the frozen pasta under hot water for a few seconds and magically, tender, just right pasta. Combine them for perfect pasta and perfect sauce.
Fettuccine.
Alfredo.
Pasta salad. My next topping.
New McCain Pasta Magic. Delicious, perfectly prepared pasta and sauce in less than 3 minutes.
It's magic.
It's McCain.
Waste time with shampoo and conditioner? Who needs it? I want to wash my hair and go. And now I can with Pert Plus. Complete shampoo plus complete conditioner in one bottle. It cleans and conditions my hair from root to tip. Now I get results that look and feel this good with Pert Plus. Shampoo and conditioner? No more. Nothing cleans and conditions better than Pert Plus. Now I just wash and go.
Pert Plus, the winning combination for great-looking hair.
Very cool. It's party time. Check the time, man. Look, you get the blue, and I'll do the rest. This is serious, man. How'd you do it? Just put the word out.
No, you're laughing. Labatt's blue.
Martin's biggest little fan. That's his 2-year-old son, Carrick, and wife, Shauna, and of course, hoping that dad and husband will bring home a second Labatt Brier tanker. We are at the Agridome in Regina for this year's championship, and a reminder to stay with us right after the game for the TSN Turning Point, and it's brought to you by Sony.
With brighter colors and sharper contrast, Sony Trinitron's exclusive one-gun picture tube catches all the action. It's the king of the hill.
All the games in this 12th round of the 92 Labatt Brier are in their 5th end break. Let's get you caught up. Prince Edward Island still leading Newfoundland and Glengoss 4-3 after the St. John's Curling Club rink scored 2 in 5. Northern Ontario, Manitoba, Vic Peters 6-1 coming in has replied, but he got 2 and 4. They blanked 5. Northern Ontario, Al Hackner will have last rock in 6. Ontario, we showed you the deuce by Russ Howard to lead the Yukon Northwest Territories. And in our feature game, Saskatchewan, Brad Hebert comes back with that pressure draw to get his 2. So we go to the 6th end of play. Thank you very much. Sixth end, and it will be Alberta and Kevin Martin with Last Rock.
Saskatchewan put the first stone into the 4-foot. I think we're going to see Kevin Martin go all out here, putting up corner guards, trying to get an opportunity for 2 with Last Rock.
I like the call by Brad Hebert to throw it into the 4-foot. I like that very much, and you can see what Kevin's doing, throwing up a corner guard, but this is going to slip into the ring, so it gives Saskatchewan a chance to hit a rock that's in the ring and lie too. Ideally, if you could force Alberta to take 1, then you can go into the next end with the hammer and try and control the game. He's done the one thing that you know that's so important, Dick. He just didn't let Kevin get away from him.
Water weight.
Kerry Gooderite, the lead for Saskatchewan, works at the Caledonian Club as a bartender in the winter. In the summer, he has about 1,200 acres worth of grain in Lipton, Saskatchewan, about 60 miles east of the city. Don Bartlett wanted to say hello to everybody at Postal Station L in Edmonton. He's an inside worker there.
Hurry! Roll it, Kevin. Roll.
Great shots.
Oh, great job, Donnie.
I'll see.
Works for Saskatchewan Tel. He's their business manager in the communications department.
He's trying to blast this out of there.
Good shot. Playing well, boy.
Making the hometown folks proud. I always talk about rider pride in this city. Well, there's a lot of Hebert pride here in the 12th round. Yeah, Dan Petrick took the year off. He has his Bachelor of Commerce from University of Alberta. And he'll start to look for work, he says, as soon as hopefully the World Championships are over.
Have worked hard this year carrying our colors to the Olympics, and it's been a lot of practice, a lot of preparation, very little monetary reward.
Bob Novakowski. Sixth end of play, and it's 3-2 Saskatchewan leading Alberta. This rink of Kevin Martin lost its opening game to Ontario and has just roared back, winning 6 straight.
Shot down.
This team doesn't look flustered one little bit. They've played very well to this point. They have control a little bit now.
Once again, here's our phone poll in this 12th round of Labatt, Brier. Are you in favor of a rule change to help give the game more offense? Not advocating any particular change, just a change. Or should the game continue as a traditional game the way it is? Yes, you say change it. 1-900-273-1000. No change. 1-900-273-2000. And we'll have the results of this phone poll a little later here in round 12 of the 1992 Labatt Brier. Kevin Park.
Hurry! Hurry! Wait there! Wait! Let's wait! Hold it. Hurry, Perron, hurry! Hurry!
There's no corner guards left. They're actually trying to come around the rock, the Yellowstone that's in the house, and get protection from it. But this one's just too heavy.
And will slip out the back. Kevin Park standing, hand on hip.
Well, Brad will split the rings here. If he can force Kevin Martin to take a single, he really puts himself in a nice position. You know, the game would be tied, but he'd have that hammer. These athletes are so good that there isn't, you know, 1 and 2 points is all you need sometimes.
Warren Sharp is an accountant with the Saskatchewan Cancer Foundation.
Tight. Up 4. Yeah, fine now. Hurry.
Come on, guys.
Hurry.
Come on. Push, 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 push. Push. Hard, harder. All the way up, all the way up. Push, push, push.
Kevin's going to try and go around that one. Got to give this Mr. Martin a lot of credit, boy. He knows how to turn to offense.
Never dreamt that would be true. Let it go. Take about 6 feet off, even more. Slide.
Kevin Park is a restaurateur. He and his wife Linda own Kevin and Linda's in the Otwell area of Edmonton.
Hurry! Light. Really got to go on it. Hurry! Hurry! Quick! Right on!
Freeze it. Hurry, come on. Line's good, come on. Freeze it. Oh, we got no weight.
They're saying he's light, that he's not even going to make the rings.
Well, golden opportunity to really put the pressure on Alberta here now. Brad can jump to the offense himself.
No, he hasn't gone last rock, Ray. What would you want him to do here?
Well, you have to think about this one, Vic. You know, you can come over to the other side and leave it open. Play over to the other side again, leave him a double, whatever it may be. You could put it right on the center line, maybe.
High, though, he come deep, but he's just going to sit on it, so I'm going to quiet one.
But you can't slip in with it.
Just from here. Let it roll, but...
The way that's pulling right now, probably if you could drop it right here, that wouldn't be a bad spot.
Yeah, as long as they're top 8, it's probably a pretty good shot. Okay, right there.
A lot of things you could do. You could try and get it into this area. I think what he's trying to do is get it right into that area there, because he wants to take away this shot here from Martin. Okay, you could put it over on this side as well. He talked a little bit about going over here, but you'd want to keep it in front of the tee line. You don't want to leave a hit and roll. So this is a good call, I think.
Go around it. He's going to corner freeze. Yeah, no deeper. Even top 12, although he's going to come right around then, so top 8 is...
Brad Hebert is in Human Resources with Saskatchewan Tel.
You have to be a little careful with this. I'm not suggesting that Alberta has done this on purpose, but they've generated some offense here and some rocks in play by putting that one short. So you don't want to fall into a trap and put your stone, this one that Brad is throwing, into a position that will favor Alberta.
Let it finish.
Can't leave them a hit and a roll behind that guard.
It's a nice spot. Very nice spot.
Depends where you get him started. I don't know. Sure sat there a long time.
That's actually a perfect spot, Linda.
Well, even if Kevin Martin does bury around it, they would have a raise, or they could come around to the face of the other stone. It's pretty good.
You can't protect everything. If you come in deeper, don't get it buried, leave him hit and roll.
I think it's going to be, I think they're going to lose some trouble real quick here.
Oh, Kevin Martin and his wife Shauna own Devon's daycare, and Kevin is also now newly into curling supplies. He owns a curling supply store in Edmonton.
Perfect weight. You can see all of that rock. It didn't curl.
Outside that center line, they hold a long time. Boy, I'll tell you, this is a great opportunity, isn't it, Linda?
Attack weight?
Whatever weight you feel comfortable.
I think so. That sure doesn't seem to be moving. Afraid to throw any more in this spot, mind you. If you get them going, where that guard, there is a point. It's got to move here. So let's play bumper, and that way we have a little less chance of it not. Even if we hit on the high side, we're still okay.
Only time Kevin Park and Kevin Martin have looked like this was in that opening game against Ontario, and they lost that one. Since then, they've been pretty much smiling all the way here in Regina, winning 6 in a row.
Just up on Hack.
He hasn't played many draws, but he's made some very big ones, especially in the third end when he came around a centerline guard and got a steal. This one is a takeout, and he's going to try and play it a little more quietly to try and get the roll.
Final stone for Saskatchewan. They lead 3-2 here in 6, and Alberta does have last rock.
Yeah, a little bit now.
Rolled a little bit the other way. It wasn't coming up enough.
It'll hang around, and Kevin Martin with his final stone is facing 4.
Well, this is what happens when you try to generate offense many, many times, but you do it because you feel confident about your draw weight, and Kevin now has to just bite the 8-foot to get a single and move on.
And give credit to Brad Hebert. He didn't bring that first one of his in too deep, or he might have set up a possibility for Alberta to get back. Maybe have a chance for 2. He placed it perfectly.
And the other thing, Ray, Linda, he has that whole, really the out-turn side, I guess, of that 4-foot open for him. I mean, he's still got a lot to work with, huh?
He's got half the sheet, Vic.
Way out here.
But still, remember now, he has struggled a little bit with his draw weight. Oh, no. Here we go again. Here comes Kevin Park. Don Bartlett's there. Petrick. T-line, 4-foot. I don't know. He just doesn't look confident.
Well, that one looked good all the way, I thought, Vic. You know, he has struggled with his draw weight, you're right, but no problem. 8-foot, 1 point, and let's move on.
So we're all tied up, 3-3. Now we go to the game between Manitoba and Northern Ontario. This is the final stone for Vic Peters and his Manitoba rink from the Granite in Winnipeg.
Now what? Take a chance
in a 3-3 tie. Northern Ontario, Al Hackner will have last rock, but count them up. 1, 2, 3, and there is a stone at 9 o'clock, 12 foot, and that's 4. So 4 yellow stones. That's what Hackner and Larry Pino are facing here in end number 6.
Well, the big thing here, though, Vic, is that there's nowhere to get in. Looks like you're going to have to pay a raise on his own stone.
I was giving them here. They were coming around the guards and ending up about there.
Actually, in was saying earlier in this, and I happened to sneak a peek over there. Al Hackner had 2 rocks on the butt frozen together, and was drawing into lie 3, actually to drawing in front of it, and it's Larry Pino's rock stayed out. There was a big hit
that weight last time? Good
by
weight?
Dan
Little
Carey.
firm, maybe? Oh, you were tough work.
And the whole one just turned around.
When you bump a rock, sometimes you need a little bit more weight. So long as we got a line onto something.
Playing the raise on the red stone that we saw just to the right of center. He looked at playing a raise on his stone in the rings, but he'd have to go so far out to make that play.
First stone, he tried to draw through the port that isn't there anymore, and he got another one, as he says, another one of those little wicks, one of those rubs, and those are the kind of shots that Al Hackner has not made here this week in Regina.
The line.
Now, little tap back, and he's got to have full 8-foot. Larry Pino, can he drag it there? Can he drag it there? No, he won't. 1, 2, probably 3. Dan Carey now will have a look. Could it even be 4? They might measure those 2 around the edge of the 8-foot.
Just 2 points, I think, Vic.
Just 2? Okay, Dan Carey signaling 2. A steal of 2 for Manitoba, and a 5-3 lead over Northern Ontario after 6.
Go back here.
As we return to our feature game here in the 12th round of the Labatt Brier, Alberta, Kevin Martin making that draw against 4 to pick up 1, and so Saskatchewan will have last rock here in end number 7 of a 3-3 tie.
And they have a nice corner guard up if they ever get a chance to use it. Vic, Dan Petrick, of course, has to be careful not to slip into the rings here. Kevin Martin is asking for the stone out in front on the center line.
Clean it. We gotta go. Don't let it curl too far. Over curling. Just over and stop it. Oh, looks good. Oh. Good boy. It's all right. Shot, Daniel.
It's a good call. It's too early in the end to do anything fancy. Dan will run this off.
Bob Nowakowski. For you now, Prince Edward Island against Newfoundland as they play the 6th. PEI leading 4-3 over Glenn Goss and his Newfoundland rink, still alive coming into this 12th round at 4-3. Newfoundland lying 1, frozen, buried, back 8-foot. Ted McFadgen and his final stone. McFadgen will draw a piece of the 4 for his 1, and a 5-3 lead as PEI looks to beat the Silver Fox, Glenn Goss.
No. Ooh, here we go.
Hey, Bobby.
The unfortunate thing is they ticked that center line guard over to a position where we know this ice so well.
Lots of movement here, that's right.
I still thought he had a piece.
Yeah. A lot of weight on her.
My man's getting a little hoarse up there. Cover that guy.
Martin, Kevin referring to a fan in the stands. A lonely Alberta fan here tonight, yelling Alberta, losing his voice. I know what that's like.
Room, clean it.
Yes, you do.
Maybe we should send them a little tea and honey.
Yeah.
Oh, Whoa.
Staying out there. Look at that, eh? There's that spot and then we talk about.
Way back.
Well, this is still a good chance for Brad Hebert to drop behind the tee line, so...
Fight finish, eh? Don't curl.
That one didn't finish. Tap it back, he says.
He's just behind the button. Actually, he's biting the back side of the button. Full draw.
Warren Sharp. First stone for the Saskatchewan third. Here in the seventh end of a 3-3 tie.
Pop.
It's way out there. Perfect way, he just got it out there a little bit and never came back.
Judging the ice in that spot then is critical, huh, Linda?
Well, I think they knew the ice. The release was very critical there. I think Warren just put it back a little bit. Luckily, it stopped for shot rock, and Alberta has to make a play on it. Now, Saskatchewan has to hope that Alberta doesn't get a great roll here.
Missed front rock and a good shot by Kevin Parr. Wasn't a great come around, but
Real hard.
this is really going now.
Is he on the guard? No, just got it by.
Hit his own.
That's unbelievable.
Don't see that too often. Well, this is a golden opportunity.
Well, I definitely don't like those two. But take your 5-6. There's nothing wrong. 5-6. There's nothing wrong.
You want to just play it here? Just got this one just a little bit, okay?
Got to jump on this, Linda. This is key shot of the end, and maybe of the game right here.
Where's the weight?
Staying out again.
Just the difference in releases.
That's something. He's going to crack his own, is he?
Now Kevin will just guard now.
Explain that to me, difference in releases. Why? I mean, what kind of thing? Or is it just something so fine?
Well, what Linda is referring to is that sometimes some curves will just kind of put them back. I think it's as much as the reason. It's that spot. He just got it outside a little bit of that line. Kevin got his inside the line, and we can't tell really from up here if he put it back a little bit, which he may have. We'll look at the release right here again and see if we can detect anything at all. Out in front of him, and then just at the end of the delivery, maybe just kind of put it out a little bit. It was hard to tell, Dick. Didn't look bad. The weight was perfect, but what a golden opportunity to score a couple of points, and now you're going to be hard-pressed to get one.
Line's good. Clean it.
A good guard here.
Where's the weight? Long weight.
That Alberta stone
Line's
is
really good.
couldn't be more perfectly sitting on the button.
Line's good. Whoa. Whoa. Line's good. Whoa. 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 That's not very good.
I play the run through. Even though it's not your stone.
Let's see what guard he puts on next time. If it's good, then we'll try it on our next one.
What's the danger trying it this time?
I'd try it right now.
If we're to go bang, well, I guess if you make it, I guess we can't hit it on this side and not miss it, eh? Like if we were to drive it off of this side, good chance this one is still going to squirt, eh?
Yeah, I think we should try it this time if we got a short guard. He puts the long one up, we don't have a shot at it.
Yeah.
Well, I think if you could drive this one here, back here, and try and catch it on the outside so it goes that way, you'll drive that one that way. I think you've got to do it right now.
Straight nose will do it.
Straight on the nose is right.
And if anything, we want to be on a bit on the high side. Not much, though.
No, I think we can get away with being on the broom side, actually.
Yeah, that's true. We can just go by the other one.
Sounds like Warren Sharp may have convinced Brad to
I think he has to play it now, for sure.
It looks like we can't do too much damage if we don't hit it right.
Another big shot.
First stone for the Saskatchewan skip. Straight through.
Oh, got a bit unlucky.
Yeah, he got a bit unlucky. It was still a very good shot. He hit it 2 straight back, Linda. But he's line
Just
one.
straightened up on us at the end, yeah.
Sorry, Brad.
Just kind of straightened at the end. You had to sweep it because we were on it. I thought we needed it.
Here it is here. If he hits just a little, if it just curls a little more or a little less, this stone would have then gone. The top stone would have then gone. He still shot rock, but Kevin can come down and touch it back.
Just draw a bump.
Draw a bump.
Careful, like, fifth of the time getting his deuce. Yeah. 4-4. As long as the motion. I don't think it's going to curl. Like, I can't see it. Draw a bump, eh? Just draw a bump. No, draw a bump. I don't think it's going to curl much out here.
It shouldn't if... shouldn't curl much out there at all. He's right. Never can tell.
Good line.
Saskatchewan got it going with that steal of 1 in the third end.
Got it way outside.
Yeah, it's nowhere near coming in.
Whoa!
Here it comes now.
Look at it. Look at it.
Not a curling to do.
That's something.
I thought maybe it was a goner.
Take it.
Bump. Move it far enough?
No, Saskatchewan's still line 1.
It actually curled more than I thought.
Yeah, me too. I thought for sure he'd missed it completely. He did too.
Got a good look.
Yellowstone. To draw, if you can get him around the out turn. I don't know if it'll come or not, Linda, but...
Can't be heavy on it, though, eh?
Oh, no.
Come, we're going to touch that. We're going to move it. Maybe we should play it this way. It'd be a little safer, eh? Yeah, this will move up. Let's play this way.
Sure, that's the way to try it.
Danger giving up the 1 anyway. So this may jump, may junk up at the end too.
Well, he talked about trying to come down this way. I think that's too dangerous. I agree with what he said and try and get it in there. So he's going to play the out turn here and try and get to the 4-foot this way. Gets it in there, he could score 2. He's line 1. Saskatchewan is line 1 point.
Yeah, we got shots. We'll play it this way because if we're a foot heavy and touch it, we just have it. So yeah, we need full 4.
Stone for Saskatchewan here in this 7th end, and it's a draw for 2.
Off, let it work a bit. Off.
Going to come a long way now.
Only if it needs weight. Yeah, yeah.
Did they leave it too long? Did they leave it too long?
Well, they had to leave it because the line wasn't there, Vic.
Now, Kevin Park's having another look. Worth a measure? Ray thinks it's one yellow.
No, it is one yellow.
They've called for the measure.
Well, might be a little bit of a psychological ploy by Mr. Martin, because it looks pretty clear to me.
Well, that draw, they hadn't played that side very much. That was a tough one. It hung out too long. Maybe this sweeping on it early kept it straighter.
First to the Alberta stone. And now to the Saskatchewan stone.
By quite a bit.
This one's for your
You bet. Saskatchewan and Brad Hebert pick up one here in the 7th end. And they'll lead it by 1. But they give up the last rock to Alberta and Martin when we come back.
Gave my son a Honda generator. It'll power everything from a sander to a saw to a whole cottage. Gave my daughter a Honda lawnmower. It has every safety and performance feature, even something called a hydrostatic transmission. And they gave me this fuel-efficient Honda outboard. Powerful, quiet, and virtually emission-free, so it won't pollute the lake. Thank them. Even though they did it to get me out of the way, it doesn't bother me a bit.
When the greatest players in hockey get together every 4 years for the Canada Cup, it's the true test of world hockey supremacy. Quality Video presents the 1991 Canada Cup Lords of the Ice. Witness Canada's domination of the rink in this action-packed 60-minute video, which can be yours now. Great goals, saves, hits, and action, and the heart-stopping final pitting Canada against the U.S. You'll see why they call Gretzky the Great One, and why Eric Lindros is the next one. Order now, and you'll also receive the series that started it all, the 72 Canada-Russia series. Relive the memories of the games that brought the country to a standstill, and the goal that was heard around the world. And incredibly, that's not all. If you act now, you'll also receive the Blades of Summer, the 87 Canada Cup, featuring the greatest games ever. Canada defeats the Soviets with Lemieux's winner in the dying minutes. No hockey collection is complete without these 3 collector's videos for the incredible price of only $29.95. Only from Quality Video. Here's how to order yours.
Visa, MasterCard, or COD. Call toll-free 1-800-563-4466. That's 1-800-563-4466. Or send check or money order for $29.95 for all 3 Canada Cup videos. Plus GST and $5 postage and handling to Canada Cup 91. Post Office Box 1101, 835 York Mills Road, Don Mills, Ontario. M3B 1Y2. Operators are standing by.
Update for you. Northern Ontario, Manitoba. Vic Peters from Winnipeg leading 5-3 as they play the 7th final stone for the Iceman, Al Hackner. And he's drawing against 1, 2, 3, all across the tee line. Everybody out now to get this stone. He needs full 8. In fact, he probably could use a piece of the blue. And that's what he'll get. So Northern Ontario picks up 1 in the 7th, trails 5-4. Manitoba will have last rock back. Prince Edward Island, a blank in 7. They continue to lead Newfoundland 5-3, and Glenn Goss's hopes are fading in that game. There's the update we just showed you. Manitoba leading by 1. In our featured game here in the 12th round, Saskatchewan picks up 1 to lead Alberta 4-3. Final stone, it was a draw for 2. It was a piece of ice that he wasn't really familiar with, Ray.
I think if they could have swept this all the way, the weight would have been fine, Vic. It's just that they got it outside, and or he took maybe too much ice. And that's, you know, because we haven't played out there at all. And so they had to leave it for line, and as a result, it just comes up short. It makes a move, but it makes it very late. You can see that it just gets to the 8 foot. Had it made a move earlier, they could have brushed it all the way.
So he gets one, and he takes the 4-3 lead. Wow. Yes, please. A piece of pizza for Ray, but no anchovies, okay? No anchovies on this one. We have to, we still have to work with them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And the Pepsi.
Oh, the Diet Pepsi, of course.
Well, I always have a Diet Pepsi with my pizza.
As we return.
Did you notice that I didn't have any red meat last night?
No.
Just chicken.
Yeah, I noticed that, yes. It was a big chicken, though, that you had. 4-3, Saskatchewan leading as we go to the 8th end of play. We just want to tell everybody that the territories in Ontario blanked the 7th end. So it's 3-2 Ontario. Russ Howard leading Steve Moss with Yellowknife. And the Ontario rink from Penetang Machine does have Last Rock playing 8.
Well, you can see the Saskatchewan stone just coming into view is in the top of the 4-foot. There was a miss by Saskatchewan on a corner guard. Now Kevin Martin has decided to draw down close to shot stone and try and get something going here.
We try to freeze the dam, but it never seems to work.
Bob Nowakowski.
Hey, weight down.
Yep.
Very hard. Good. Hey, boy.
Well, Kevin tried to freeze the first time. Now it looks like he's going to come around the corner guard.
Socket in there.
In turn, come around the long corner guard.
Dan Petrick.
How's the line?
Lots of room.
Might be a little light.
Lots of room.
A little short.
Whoa, then.
Corner guard.
Hurry.
We're light. Just top ring.
Oh, hurry if you can get her here.
No, we're not even there. Okay, a little short, doesn't hurt us. Sorry, it's okay.
Well, this was our phone poll. Are you in favor of a rule change to help give the game more offense? No particular change, just a change. Or should the game continue with the traditional rules? Look at this. 3-1. Change.
I hope the powers that be are listening to the nation, the people, the curlers across the country. They would have got my 50-cent vote too, I can tell you that. Let's find the right change.
Easy. A lot of room. Ah.
Okay, line's good. Where is it?
Again, maybe we can mention that if the curlers have an opinion, they can also write to their curling association and register that opinion, and a change may be viewed next year at the curling association meetings.
Good job, Warren.
That's the right side to protect, Linda. Leave the other side open if you're going to leave the side open.
They're going to play this very quietly. They'd like to just tap the Yellowstone to the back of the 4-foot.
Has to put some of the crowd noise out of his mind as he delivers here in the 8th end. 4-3 Saskatchewan.
Line's good. Whoa. Room.
Off. Nope, never. Nope.
Well, we've seen some great shooting so far tonight in our game, and here's another chance for Saskatchewan to really put the pressure. If they can get the hit and a little flop over in front of their own, hack weight. Another very...
Don't overthrow it.
Don't overthrow it.
Flip your hair. Okay? Don't overthrow it.
He gets a hit and roll here, Linda, I'll tell you. He'll set himself up very well.
Warren Sharp.
Well, he keeps telling Warren not to overthrow it because we saw Kevin Park's rock almost straighten up. It's so straight here. This is Warren's intern, and we mentioned that it went very straight last, and
He must be just getting those outside, Linda, like you suggest, because they're just not coming at all. We know it runs straight there, but
I think we need to try it.
thin double.
Either that or just this even. Just freeze it in here. Throws a lid. Yeah. You don't like this? Yeah. But not much weight. I don't think we need much weight. Oh, we don't have to move this more than about here.
Okay, you hear what he's talking about. They said we could throw one right in here, but he said no, then he'll just put the cap on it. That's no good, so let's play this quietly. Here, come across, try and move that one just out there. He said you don't need much weight now.
Huh? About here. Half weight.
Hack weight.
I don't know why we're just not running the double. Regular weight.
Kevin wants to play it with bigger weight, thin.
Fly two in behind the guard. I mean, this is... Even the roll's good. Playing with hack weight. Trying to hit a third of the rock. It's tough.
Well, Kevin doesn't like the shot. That's never a good situation, Linda.
not when you step in the hack to play it yourself.
Wow. Whoa. Clean.
Yes. Hurry. Hurry. Sweat. Hurry. Come on. Watch it. Sweat.
They got to get it by first. They have it by.
Oh, unbelievable. It curled too much.
He got that started, eh? That's what's making the difference when you get him moved.
He's just really just laying him in there.
He just got it started, Brad says.
Yeah. Good.
He just got it started, Brad said.
Enough to keep it there.
Hit it right on the nose.
Second time. He's done that.
It's not Kevin Park's usual game. He's curling about 55% right now.
Okay, let's see it. Stop it right there. Just through the hole. Just touch it. Let her go. There it goes. Now he can run it back.
Been number one all week at 85%, and he's really struggling
You know, if
tonight.
we'll push ours in behind is okay.
Great chance for Brad Hebert.
Sure is.
Kip Stone's here in this eighth. Saskatchewan leading 4-3. Alberta with last round.
Ray's takeout, playing the intern.
It's really curled well.
Hurry.
It's got to hit it at least on the nose.
Hey. Come on, guys. Hurry up.
This one's curling too. Will it hold?
Yes.
A little bit extra weight will hold it better.
Is that the kind of weight that Park wanted to throw?
Yeah, that would have been the kind of weight that Kevin Park would have wanted to throw, but Kevin Martin wanted just to hack weight. Here's a look at this again. This hits it on the outside, it would have been a little better shot, because I could have hit it on the outside, and then the raised stone would have come across to the top of the button, but it's out of there, so it's a good shot.
And the full draw here.
Kevin Martin just playing the draw. He's got a couple opportunities. He can come off his own, off the Saskatchewan stone.
Line's good. Warm.
Line's good.
Come on. Marshall.
A lot of weight, they're saying.
Rub. How much? A lot of weight. Back four. Oh, that whoa. We got.
Clean it.
All right, we're by. Yep. Whoa, we're by. Whoa. Whoa. Stay close. Whoa.
it's a great shot, but if Brad Hebert can get his frozen on the face of it, there's no way that Kevin Martin will get in there.
Well, at least he has to make something.
Short is not a bad shot.
Short's not a bad shot, but you want a great chance if you get in there. If you could come down in this area here, just put it anywhere in there, and I'll tell you what, it cannot be removed.
Yeah, it was fine last time.
Yeah, we got out a little bit, eh?
Just a cold draw, Linda.
Yeah, we can't be off from here, even if we're top of the can.
It's a great opportunity to steal a point, and it would be a very big point in 8. Just a draw.
Final stone for Saskatchewan.
Yep. Hurry! Hurry!
Inside, he said.
Doesn't want to move that guard.
No, he's on the front, I think.
He is.
Oh, what a chance. Weight was fine. He just got it inside, I guess. Boy, what a turnaround.
Opportunity here for Alberta and Kevin Martin. Draw a piece of the cap, the button, and they'll pick up 2 here in end number 8.
Where is it? Four, Kevin? How much?
He can come to the back one, the yellow one, if he has to.
Hey. Hey. Oh. Whoa. Clean it. Clean all the way. Whoa.
He's fine.
Whoa.
Look at that. Look at that. But what a big shot that was. And Brad Hebert knows it. He had a chance to close the door. He left it open just a little bit. And Alberta has walked through and picked up 2 here in end number 8. Live update for you. Ontario and Yukon Northwest Territories. Final stone, Steve Moss. Quiet tap back as he makes the draw against 4 Ontario stones, trailing 4-2 in the 9th. And now the question is, did he move it back far enough? They may want to measure those 2 stones around the 4-foot, and Glenn Howard is going to call for the measure. We'll update you on that as soon as they finish the measure. Northern Ontario against Manitoba as they play the 8th then. 5-4. Vic Peters from the Granite Winnipeg leading. Final stone for the Manitoba champions. Line 1, T-line 4-foot. And the draw 4-2. And Manitoba now comfortably in front of Al Hackner, 7-4. Alberta, Saskatchewan is our featured game, and boy, oh boy, you leave him a crack, and he'll go right in. Here is Kevin Martin after Brad Hebert had the chance, and he just couldn't.
Well, Brad Hebert had a golden opportunity there, Vic. He could have actually been 2 up playing the 9th end. If he gets it in on top of that in-turn, on top of the button, there's no way Martin can get it out of there, and he's going to possibly steal a point. Instead, he gives up a deuce, and that just turns the game right around.
And they measured, and it is a steal of 1 for Ontario and Russ Howard in the 9th end. And he now leads it 5-2 over Steve Moss. Hello there.
What's that?
Baby Cookie Monster.
Well, you can't give a team the caliber of Kevin Martin a second chance or a chance. And Saskatchewan has played played a wonderful curling game. It's just that they just couldn't close it there in the 8th inning. It's not over by any stretch of the imagination, but this team is very, very tough to get 2 points on.
Saskatchewan has decided to try and draw into the rings. They're not having a lot of success with those corner guards, and not many people do against Alberta. So they're trying to draw into the house, coming down to the Alberta stone in the 12-foot.
Okay, line's good now. Do it. Yep. Yep. Hurry. Hurry. Whoa. Boy.
Great shot.
5-4, Alberta leading.
Feel.
Nice hat, guys.
Yeah, lovely.
Nope.
Just imagine what he'd looked like, that fella looked like after a night in the Brier patch, meeting him in a dark alley. And there it is. Brier patch attached to the Agridome. Lace hops from morning till night. Warren Sharp. Update for you, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, as they play the 8th, a must-win situation for the rink from St. John's Curling Club. Final stone for Glenn Goss. Won't rearrange them enough, and which one is it? It is blue. The one, the red stone, biting the blue at around 10 o'clock. It's a steal of one for PEI that leads 6-3, and the hopes are fading fast for the Silver Fox. And you know what's happening here is what we had talked about, Linda, as this draw began. The 3 rinks, the 3 favorites, are all now winning, and Manitoba and Ontario, Russ Howard, pardon me, comfortably. Alberta by 1, and they're going to just, if this stays the same, pull away here in this 92 Labatt Brier.
In the Manitoba and the Alberta games, big 8th ends for those 2 teams, getting there 2, getting a bit of a jump on the opposition.
Big 8th end in our game, Linda.
That's right.
Too high.
Could have gone either way. Could have been a steal, turned out to be 2 for Alberta.
Boy.
Just to emphasize again how important these games are in the 12th round. If Manitoba, Alberta, Ontario all win their games, they'll separate themselves from Quebec, Idle, Newfoundland, and Saskatchewan. With losses would drop to 4, and the feeling is that's too many.
Where's in the blue?
Kevin, with only 2 stones to come, is going to ignore the corner guard and
he can have the freeze.
try and draw to the edge of the 4-foot.
Hold it. Off it. Right here. Starting to spin. Right here. We have to have a bit of the blue, guys. Right on the T line. Easy.
Brad has to make a decision whether he plays the hit and tries to get the roll, maybe to blank the, get the roll, or he could just, he could freeze to it. He doesn't want to be forced to have to take one, Linda. That's the whole key. Freeze or...
No base to get there for the freeze?
Well, he just threw that from right there.
Of course, they're hitting the flop. At least you're, then he's going to make a nice come around.
He's going to make a come around.
Spot. Yeah.
We could have ticked that one if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Not a bad spot because they haven't played many outturns here. Okay, their first choice was to talked about trying to play the freeze and freezing here. Then they discussed it, and now they've decided to come this way here. Try and get right into that area there. Edge of the 4-foot on the other side.
I think they're talking about the hit and roll, actually.
And the hit and roll. That's right, of course.
I don't know, freeze is pretty tough, and even if you make it perfect, he throws him so hard that it's blasted anyways.
The other thing about this hit and roll is that
maybe he's at least forced him to play the draw.
is that if you do get a roll there, we haven't played many outturns down that side.
Well, he hasn't played many outturns, and this is a tough spot. Remember the outturn draw he tried earlier that went so straight.
Clean. Off. Clean. Off.
That one ran straight as well.
Update for you now. Final stone, or the first stone, pardon me, for Ontario's Russ Howard, with a chance to end it here against the Yukon Northwest Territories, and he will run Steve Moss in the ring from Yellowknife out of Rocks here in the 10th end. So it'll go into the Brier book as a 5-2 win for Ontario, and Howard from Penetanguishene improving their record to 6-2. Steve Moss from Yellowknife drops to 2-6. Second stone for Kevin Martin. Saskatchewan does have last rock.
Clean.
Well, Brad will look for the blank now.
Tried to turn it, too. Stayed right there. Should be easy enough to roll out tomorrow. Huh? Should be easy enough spot to roll out tomorrow. Oh, yeah. I guess if it rips you right at the nose, it might not fall back.
Yep.
Final stone.
Right up. Right up.
Looking to blank.
Hard, all the way up.
Yeah, you can hear the groan from the front end as Saskatchewan will take one here in the 9th end of play. They're all tied up 5-5, but really does. It's in all the control now belongs with Alberta. All right, now, Alberta, Manitoba, Ontario. You have to think they'd be your front runners to win this year's Labatt Brier Tankard here in Regina. From here, the TSN curling crew will be going, of course, to the World Curling Championships from Garmisch, Germany. We'll have half-hour daily reports during round robin, March 28th through April the 3rd. And then we'll bring you live coverage of both semifinals on April the 4th. The World Curling Championships, reports, and the semifinals. Check your local listings. Let's get you caught up now as we near the end of this 12th round. Prince Edward Island in control over Newfoundland and Glengoss, and the hopes are fading, as I say, for Newfoundland, who come in with 3 losses. Northern Ontario, another loss here by the Iceman, will all but eliminate Al Hackner's ring from Thunder Bay. Manitoba leading by 2, playing 10, and they have last rock. And Saskatchewan, Alberta in our featured game, it's 5-5, and Alberta do have the hammer coming home. other game is already over, of course. Ontario winning 5-2 over the Territories. As we take a look at the Saskatchewan second, Bob Nowakowski.
Well, they've tried everything, Linda. They put up corner guards and they ran them off. They put up, now putting up a center line guard and looking for one nose hit.
Saskatchewan stole that 1 point in the third end, but you don't expect Alberta to give up 2 steals in the same game.
Bob Nowakowski, his second stone here in end number 10. About this Alberta team and the way they throw their takeout weight. It is, some will throw control. What would you call this? I mean,
yeah, this is peel weight. This is good bumper weight. Good big weight, they call it, you know. It's been a terrific hurling game. Opportunities by both teams early and a couple of missed shots. Don't get many chances against this guy, Mr. Martin, our Canadian champion, so when you get them, you got to take advantage of them. And they had a golden opportunity in that 8th end. And even earlier in that end, too, Linda. It wasn't just the last shot, but...
Sharp. Kevin Park's turn.
Lane, hurt.
Wind up and fire.
Good. Shot.
Right side?
All you can do is keep putting them up and keep hoping.
Fair.
It's good. Nice weight, Warren. Boy.
Struggled a little bit in this game, but with these peels, he's picking his numbers up a little bit.
Well, the team is number 1. Alberta is 86%, which is the top of all the teams, and skip Kevin Martin and third Kevin Park were top amongst their positions coming in. He will bring his numbers down a little bit after this one. I don't think he'll worry too much about that if they come out with a win.
Let's play it in top 12. See if we got one. We don't want to put the next one as top 12 over on that. They can play that out there. So let's test this then.
Skip Stones to come here in this 10th of a 5-5 tie.
Impressive string of wins, really, for Alberta after that opening loss to Ontario. Just one game where they gave up a few points to the opposition. That was the one we mentioned about New Brunswick getting some points. The final score of that game was 10-8, Alberta winning. But other than that game, they've been able to keep the opposition to not many points. So
Saskatchewan, with one stone left, will try to hide it. Try to put it somewhere.
It's just right off there, yeah. Just full 12.
Take this right as far over as possible?
Well, I mean, some people like to put it half in the house and force them to draw, but Kevin Martin missed a couple of draws early and has hit the forefoot almost every time since. So the theory is you put it somewhere you think the opposition will miss, but I'm not sure that they can find a place that Kevin Martin will miss.
Has his fans here.
Who do you think they're cheering for?
Makes it pretty easy.
Nose hit does it for us.
Hit.
Yes! Whoa! Off is falling. Right off. Ball. Right off.
Oh, right there. It just bites the top of the 12. And Kevin Martin and his defending Labatt Brier Championship ring from the Habanero Curling Club in Edmonton get the battle of their life so far at this Brier. And they escape with a 6-5 win, improving their record to 7-1. Saskatchewan drops to 4-4. And finally, we see a smile on the face of Kevin Martin. Hey, a chance to curl, maybe a little gambling. See the sight.
Iron to the Mississippi.